Hello everyone out in the internet world, my Facebook Live and my YouTube. Welcome to the end of the year 2020. I am so grateful for each and every one of you who are joining me, everyone that sends the comments, the likes, the shares. Today I wanted to talk about something that is very near and dear, something very special to me. It's a book I've read to you many times, but I think it's worth another read. This book sort of inspired me as a child to create the world that I am inhabiting. And I really love it. It's really special. I want to share it with you. It's a pop-up book, and it's called A Visit to the Haunted House. This house, this is, on a side note, this right here, when I was about 7 years old, I would sit in front of this book and I would say, "This is my house. This is my house. This is my house." Anyway, side note. The Haunted House. Halfway between a little town called Sassafras and a little town called Liesbediza, on a high hill, was a big, old house that was so spooky and scary that everyone said it was haunted. Every night, strange noises came from Halfway House, noises that sounded like ghostly screams and witches' laughter, and horrible creatures were seen flying in and out the windows. It's no wonder that people from Sassafras and Liesbediza were afraid to even go near Halfway House. One day, Tommy Tribble, who lived in Liesbediza, got a new kite. He called up his friend Stephanie Pepper, who lived in Sassafras, and said, "Let's go fly my kite." "Right," said Stephanie. "I'll meet you at the high hill by Halfway House." But Halfway House is haunted." "Oh, pooh," said Stephanie, who was 6 and as brave as anything. "There's no such thing as ghosts, and that hill is the best place to fly a kite. Besides, we won't go in the house." "Okay," said Tommy, who was almost 6 and very brave too. So they went. The wind was so strong that it was hard to hang on to the kite string. Tommy and Stephanie both had to hold it, and the kite kept blowing closer and closer and closer to the horrible haunted Halfway House. Suddenly, snap! The kite string broke, and Tommy Tribble's bright new kite sailed right into an open window of the haunted Halfway House. "Oh, that's too bad," said Stephanie, sadly. "Let's go home now. It's starting to get dark, and I'm scared." "I thought you were so brave. Now's your chance to prove it," cried Tommy. "You're going with me." Stephanie shivered and shook her head no. But when Tommy laughed at her, she decided to go. She didn't want him to think she was a scaredy cat. Tommy took Stephanie's hand, and they walked up to the big old front door of the Halfway House. It looked like it hadn't been opened in about 77 years, and it was covered with musty, dusty spider webs. It's probably locked. Let's go home," said Tommy. But just then, creak, the door opened up all by itself. "Let's go," screamed Stephanie. "This place really is haunted." But Tommy said, "No, come on, silly. It's only the wind. And I want to find my kite." So the two of them held on tight to each other's hand and crept bravely through the doorway. As soon as they were inside the horrible house, even before their eyes grew used to the darkness of the gloomy room, boom! The door slammed shut behind them, and the bolt fell into place, almost as if an invisible hand had locked it. "I want to go home," cried Stephanie. "Me too, but I can't lift this bolt. It's too heavy." Just then, the children heard a flap, flap, flapping sound. They looked up and saw a bunch of black, furry bats flying right at them. "This way!" yelled Tommy, and he pulled Stephanie after him as he ran away from the vampire bats. But those creepy creatures chased the children farther into the haunted house, past cobweb-covered caskets, through dark halls with clammy walls, and up creaky, squeaky flights of stairs. As the children began climbing the rickety old staircase, they heard rattling chains, and further away, the sound of fiendish laughter. Then it became very, very quiet. Too quiet. All of a sudden, a panel in the wall flew open, and out popped a skull. Clackety-clacketer, clackety-clacketer, went tumbling down the stairway. Tommy and Stephanie turned and ran as fast as they could away from the terrible sight, but as they turned a corner in the dark hallway, they ran right into a skeleton without a head. "Where's my head?" the skeleton said. "My bones can't rest without a head." Poor Stephanie, poor Tommy. They were too frightened to say a word, so they ran on away from the scary skeleton down the hideous hallway and up another fearful flight of stairs. At the top of the stairs, they saw a door marked "This Way Out," but just as Tommy reached for the knob, whoosh! A trapdoor opened beneath them, and they went tumbling down, down, down through a long, dark tunnel, and Tommy and Stephanie landed kerplunk in a room full of ghosts. The grinning ghosts were flying around the room, twisting and turning, moaning and groaning. Tommy's eyes were as big as saucers. Stephanie was white as a sheet. They had to find a way out, any way out. The ghosts kept forcing them back against the wall, and as they leaned against the wall, a very strange thing happened. A secret panel began to open. It was a hidden door they had found by accident. And on the other side, they saw a funny, mustachioed, black-haired man operating lots of strange machines. "Oh no, please, don't hurt me," cried the funny man. "I'm so sorry for scaring you. Please forgive me." "What is this anyway?" asked Tommy. "Have you been fooling us?" Well, you see, you might say, yes, I've been fooling you," stammered the little man in a not-so-shy and squeaky voice. Those are added words. "But why?" cried Tommy and Stephanie together. "Because I was afraid," sobbed the little man, and he broke down and cried and cried and cried. And he broke down and cried and cried. Tommy and Stephanie rushed to his side. There, said Stephanie. "Please don't cry. We forgive you. We want to be your friends." "Yes," said Tommy. "We want to help you. Please tell us why you wanted to scare us." "Well, you see, I am very shy," said the poor fellow, as he dried his crocodile tears. "My name is Mr. Bashfellow. I'm afraid of people. So I decided to build all these machines to make people think this house is haunted. I have ghost machines, skeleton machines, bat machines, scream machines, just every kind of creepy machine imaginable." "Well, you sure fooled us," said Tommy. Just then he saw his kite. "Hey, there's my kite. May I have it, please?" "Of course. You know I'm really very glad it blew in here. You're the first guests I've ever had, and you're really very nice." "Everybody's nice," said Stephanie. "At least everybody in Sassafras and Lisbethesda. As nice as you?" "Oh, yes," said Tommy. "Well, I've just never been around people before. I thought they were all horrid and mean like the ones in Hollywood." "Certainly not," said Stephanie. "Listen, I have a great idea," cried Tommy. "I'll bet you could sell tickets to this haunted house. Lots of people would come from Sassafras and Lisbethesda would come." "To be scared?" asked Mr. Bashfellow. "It's fun to be scared when you know it's just pretend," said Stephanie. "It would be nice to have more friends like you," said Mr. Bashfellow, as a happy blush spread over his face. "I think it's a wonderful idea." And the very next day, Mr. Bashfellow, with some help from his friends, opened the Halfway House of Happy Horrors, and to this very day, people from Sassafras and Lisbethesda and lots of other places think it's a treat to go there for the thrills and the chills. Everyone likes Mr. Bashfellow, and he thinks the world of everyone. especially his very best friends, Tommy Tribble and Stephanie Pepper. The reason that I chose this book to tell you once more is because I want you to be aware of things that sculpt you and make you and form your intentions. I am building my intentions. Right now, I'm only renting this beautiful home, but I am building step by step my intent. I will, I am, it is, it shall be. And as we approach the new year, lovely friends, lovely viewers, lovely people, I want you to pay attention to what drives you, what has been motivating you, what has been your aesthetic. Because I will tell you, an object in motion wishes to remain in motion unless it is met by an equal to or greater opposing force. So you can either go with it, or like an egg being dropped to the ground, you could be destroyed by it. What are your motivations? What are your desires? What is your design? What is driving and motivating you? Think about that. Leave it in the comments below. Thank you for all the likes, the shares, and the comments. Also, if you would like, I have a PayPal account, which you can find on my email. I do have a Patreon that I'm setting up for all of my arts, my videos. That would be a help too, but either way, I love you. I appreciate you. If I don't get to see you until till after the holidays, I love you next time. Take care.